Hi, I'm Randy R., your local real estate agent right here in Laguna Niguel. Today, I'm taking you inside one of the most tucked away coastal gems in all of Laguna Niguel, Bear Brand Ridge. This gated community sits right at the corner of Golden Lantern and Camino de Levion, just one street away from Dana Point. And honestly, it feels like a hidden perch above the coast. So stick around because as we walk through, I'll show you why these homes, mostly between $2 and $3 million, around 2,400 square feet to 3,500 square feet, feel like such a smart play on privacy, ocean breezes, and everyday livability. We'll hit those quiet cul-de-sac streets, the ocean peaks, and some details most people not familiar will totally miss. So hang in there because the best part of this neighborhood, it's not obvious at first glance. And in a minute, I'll show you a couple of the trophy homes most recently sold. We're starting our tour today on the corner of Camino de la Vion, making a left-hand turn now onto Golden Lantern. Now, Camino de la Vion is the street that separates Dana Point from Laguna Niguel. So right now we're traveling into the community of Laguna Niguel. On the ridge on the right, we're seeing the back of the homes that are on Fairlane in the community that we're going to take a look at today. Fairlane is the street that goes from the very top gate all the way to the bottom gate. And I point this out because those homes do back to Golden Lantern. Now we're passing an intersection where there's an exit gate only from the community. You can't enter whether you're a guest or a resident. That entrance just simply does not work. It's gated off. It's never ever been open. And it's an exit gate only. So we're traveling towards Crown Valley Parkway away from the coast on Golden Lantern. It is a major thoroughfare. It's 3 lanes in each direction. Traffic is, I think, 50 miles an hour. So those homes on that ridge, and I'll point it out as we drive through the community, there's a positive to living there, and there's also the drawback of the road noise. The positive is that they do have views, and many of them have some ocean views. But you can see that they're going to have some sound impact from this street. It is a fairly trafficked street. This is Old Ranch we're approaching. The street name is Old Ranch. We're going to make a right onto Old Ranch. If we travel to the end of the street, it would end up at a gated community called Bear Brand Ranch. It is the most expensive community in the city. It is 24-hour manned gate, armed gate. And there are 2 entrances to that community too. So we're going to be turning right before we get there. But at the end of this street is the entrance to a very exclusive neighborhood, Bear Brand Ranch. It's all part of the Bear Brand Master Association. There are many communities within the Master Association, and Bear Brand Ridge that we're entering is one of those communities. Now you can see that gate closing in front of us. We're going to be approaching, and there's a push button you can see on the left-hand side. And I'm going to share some information about that push button a little bit later in the video. So you need to stay tuned because as you can see, I'm going to be pressing this button that opens the gate. And you probably did notice a sign as we're driving in. There are hours that that button is operational and obviously hours that it's not. And I'm going to share with you later in the video exactly why that push button is there. Again, we're entering the top gate off of Old Ranch. The street to the right is a very short little cul-de-sac with some nice ocean views on portions of that street. And as we travel down Fairlane, it is the main street that connects the top gate to the bottom gate. And these are the homes that I was speaking of that do back to Golden Lantern. This is a single loaded street. You can tell there's landscaping on the left all the way down until probably we're going to travel about 1/3 down this street until there are homes on both sides. I'm turning onto this cul-de-sac just to give you an idea of what these homes look like. Take a closer look at the architecture as we drive through. There are 5 or 6 cul-de-sac streets all off of Fairlane, all on the right-hand side. And the ones that we're approaching straight ahead, those homes at the end of the cul-de-sac, they have phenomenal ocean views. So people are willing to live on this street in those properties with some road noise because the views are phenomenal. Those homes right in front of us enjoy the best ocean views. Now, the homes at the top where we entered, there's actually two subdivisions within this community called Bear Brand Ridge. We just passed through most of the Warmington homes. They were built actually last. They started the construction of this development at the bottom where the main gate is, or the lower gate. And you can see those homes in front of us up on the ridge. That's the community of Bear Brand Ranch. Those are the most expensive homes in the city. They range in price from the maybe low sixes, 6 million, up to a home that was recently on the market for 49 million. It did not sell. I don't believe there's been a home sale anywhere near that price, but the home was phenomenal. I'll put a link in the description to that home just so you can see what a asking price of $50 million is. But we're going to keep traveling down Fairlane. Now, again, there are several of these cul-de-sac streets. I'm going to take you down one more when we get there for a particular reason. Homes in this neighborhood were built between 1992, 1993, 1994. There may have been a few homes on either side, but that was the major building from 92 to 94. And they're approximately 2.2 million entry level for this part of the community, going up to about 2.5, 2.6. There have been sales higher than that, and they are on a different street that I will showcase in this video. Square footages range from about 2,350 to about 2,800 plus, and they are all 4 and 5 bedroom floor plans, all of them. So we're turning down this street for a particular reason. I want to show you Sun Terrace at the very end of this street. It was the most recent home sale at a very high price. It sold for 2.5 million, and that was $866 per square foot. Very, very high for the city. We hover around 725 to 750 in that range for the average for single family detached homes. But the home I want to point out is the very last home on this cul-de-sac, that white home right there. That's number 2 Sun Terrace, and it closed again at 2.5 million. Closed June 19th of last year, 2025. So it's a little bit older sale, but again, 2.5 million with a great ocean view. Very nice home. I will put a link to that property as well in the description. Feel free to visit and take a closer look at that property. It was 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2,884 square foot, the largest floor plan. The list price was 2.7, maybe a little bit rich for that home, and it closed at 2.5. Now, the homes straight in front of us are the first homes on the other side of Fairlane. This is where the homes from here down to the bottom gate will exist on both sides. And as we travel down further Fairlane, we're going to transition into the J.M. Peters homes. They just called them J.M. Peters homes. That was the builder. The ones below called Warmington. And these homes are similar in architecture. I'm going to show you some homes as we drive through some of the streets. These were the first built. Now, construction here started around maybe the end of 1986, mostly 1987, 1988, 1989, a few maybe a year or so after that, till they built out this portion of the community. And again, the homes on the right, we transition now back to a single loaded street, homes only on one side in this portion. But the homes on the right-hand side, they do have some pretty good views, but they will have some noise from Golden Lantern. The street we're going to be approaching on the left-hand side is the only pass-through street that does cut through the community besides Fairlane. It's a left-hand turn coming up here, and it'll connect to another portion of the neighborhood. You could take it. It goes all the way through. Name of that street is Larkfield, and that does cut through the entire community. But we're going to keep going down Fairlane till the very end. Homes in this subdivision range from about 2,800 square feet to over 3,500 square feet. So they take over where the other homes, the Warmington homes, kind of ended in square footage and size. they do overlap just a little bit. This is that exit gate that I was telling you about here on the right-hand side. No one can enter, but you can exit. Both guests and residents can exit that gate. Kind of convenient because right across from that gate is the Ocean Ranch Center, major shopping center that services both Dana Point and Laguna Niguel. The Ocean Ranch Center, I did a whole video and it's on my channel if you want to check it out. But that center exists on both sides of Camino del Avion. So Ocean Ranch Center is actually in Dana Point in part and in Laguna Niguel. Now we're coming to what I would call the elbow of the street. And those homes that are on the right-hand side, they're going to have significant traffic noise. They do have good views, not as good as some of the homes up on the top, but they're going to be impacted by the intersection of Camino del Avion and Golden Lantern. So you're going to have traffic. And as we travel down this street, this is Halsey. The homes on the right do back to Camino del Avion. They do have some views, not ocean, but they do have some views. The homes on the left have no views whatsoever. They back to other homes. But it's a very nice street. Just have to realize that on the right-hand side, it does back to Camino del Avion. Now, as we approach this intersection, you're going to see that there is another gate on the right-hand side. And the gate that we're approaching, a lot of people refer to it as the main gate. There is a guard shack there. Maybe it was intended to be the gate, the main gate, but there's never been a guard in that gate to my knowledge. I've never ever seen one. There's currently not a gate guard there. It's always been a push button entrance. It's probably a budget issue. I think if all the homeowners wanted a guard there for an additional increase in the HOA, you could probably vote a guard in, but the community, I believe, is fine without a guard. And the push button entrance, again, you can't come in here at night for a reason. That's what the sign said if you did notice it coming in. That button's only operational during the day, and at the end of the video, I will tell you why. But we're traveling down a street called Glastonberry. Now, Glastonberry has, I would say, a good side and a bad side, not to be too judgmental, but the homes on the right, again, have views, but they do back to Camino del Avion. And where they back is a hill. It's a steep incline as cars are coming up that portion of Camino del Avion. So when they're accelerating up that hill, especially trucks, I tell my buyers if they're looking at homes, and I did show a buyer in this community, a home on the left and on the right of Glastonberry, and we did have some road noise when we took a look at the homes that are they're on the left-hand side now. The homes on the right don't have any views, but they do not have any road noise. So there's a judgment call. You have to determine if you're sensitive to the road noise and want to have some ocean views. As we travel towards the entrance of this street, the views actually get better. And towards the left-hand side right here, you have some pretty good ocean views. Not as good as the street that I'm going to show you at the top, but nonetheless, they do have good views. These homes will range in price from about the high ones to well over $2.5 million. Now we're traveling up this street to what I would consider the best street. No question, arguably the best street in the entire community. The street is Park Paseo. Park Paseo. We're going to be making a left on Park Paseo. And I'll tell you why it's considered the best street. If you go to the end of this street, it is a cul-de-sac. We can barely see the end of the street there. But as we turn onto Park Paseo, this street is the premier street. It is the highest street in the neighborhood. There's a short little cul-de-sac we're coming upon here. There's only about a half a dozen homes in this cul-de-sac. But as we travel down this street, all the homes on the left, it is a single loaded street. All of these homes have unbelievable ocean views. I currently have a client living on this street, and they're actually midway down this street. Phenomenal ocean views. They've been there about 15 years. They love it. Beautiful, beautiful street. You can see the homes are just gorgeous. And all of these have unbelievable ocean views. Now, at the end of the street, we're coming upon the highest sale in the community ever. It was listed and sold for 3.6 million with a list price of 3.8. This house right here on the left. That house with the 3 bays, the 3 garages, that home sold for 3.6 million. Highest sale ever in the community. I'll put a link to that property as well in the description. So there's going to be 3 links. One of a home not in this community and 2 homes in this community for you to take a look. Now, remember, I told you that button only operates certain hours in daylight only, actually never in the evening hours. It's because of this park on the left-hand side. That's a city park. And the community must give public access to that park. You've got a little jungle gym area for the kids, a basketball court and a volleyball court. That's about it. It's a beautiful little park. If I had buyer clients that had children and were in the $3.5 to $4 million price range, I would bring them to this street if there were a home available. This is a gorgeous street with that park across from those homes and the ocean views. Many of those homes have private pools. They're absolutely breathtaking and stunning. The home straight ahead of us as we travel back down, those homes in front of us will also have ocean views, more of the coastline heading south on all those homes now to the left. But again, they do have some good ocean views. Homes on the right do not have any views whatsoever. We're traveling down to the main street. We'll be exiting the gate on Camino del Avion. The home that we just passed, the one on Park Paseo, it was sold with furnishings. All the furniture was included. So part of that 3.6 million was for furniture. It's very hard to separate out what the value of that was. And that's very difficult to do if there's a loan involved, but that purchase was all cash. So there's no questions asked if it's all cash. But again, a portion of that 3.6 million was for the furniture. All the furniture was included. Now we're exiting the lower gate or the main gate onto Camino del Avion. I'm going to travel just a moment, if I can ask you to stay with us. I'm going to travel to the shopping center of Ocean Ranch. Now, remember, I did do a complete video on 5 of the major shopping centers in the city of Laguna Niguel. I did the busiest, I did the oldest, I did the biggest. Ocean Ranch was the most luxurious. And that's where we're going to go and take a quick look right now at the shopping center. So again, in the video, I'll put at the end, I'll put my next video for you to see the shopping centers. I highlighted the biggest, the busiest, the oldest, and the most luxurious. And one other one without a title, one of the other major shopping centers. But we're now back at the intersection of Camino del Avion that we're on right now. And we're going to be crossing Golden Lantern. If I were to make a left-hand turn and travel down Golden Lantern, I would hit Dana Point and the coast. It's about a 3 to 4 mile drive to the left. If I were to make a right-hand turn at this intersection in about, again, 3 to 4 miles, I'm about midway, maybe a little bit more than halfway, I would hit Crown Valley Parkway. And that is the main street that travels all the way down the center of Laguna Niguel. The entire city is a corridor, Crown Valley Parkway. So we're going to be crossing this intersection. Now you can see there's a shopping center on the right. That is Ocean Ranch Village. And there's a shopping center on the left. And that is also Ocean Ranch Village. On the left is Dana Point. On the right is Laguna Niguel. There's a major Cinépolis theater on the right-hand side. There's a Trader Joe's. They're moving into a new large location. There's a gorgeous Italian restaurant called Bottega Angelina on the right-hand side. When they built that restaurant, it was remodeled. They spent $7.5 million remodeling it from the old restaurant that used to be. So it is absolutely stunning. For Italian food, that's a definite go-to for a nice evening. So now we're driving into the Dana Point side of the Ocean Ranch Village. There's many, many shops and restaurants in this center. Major market, bank, See's Candy. Let's not forget See's Candy. I'm going to be wrapping up the tour at this point. I'll be doing a review and a recap in my office. Here's the Ralph's on the right-hand side, the major shopping market here in the Ocean Ranch Center. In the center across the street, there is no major market. There is the Trader Joe's. A CVS on this side as well. And as we round this corner, some more businesses. So I thank you for being along for the tour. I'll wrap it up back at the office. And thank you again for touring Bear Brand Ridge. So thanks for coming along on this tour of Bear Brand Ridge here in Laguna Niguel. I hope it gave you a real feeling of the neighborhood. If you're curious about values, timing, or just exploring options here or anywhere in South Orange County, I'm happy to help, and I'd be honored to assist you with your real estate needs. I'm Randy Orr with Berkshire Hathaway, changing lives one home at a time.